Hi friends, today I want to flip through the first 9 months of my Sterling Ink Common Planner. I am just going to go through a page at a time and it'll be pretty chatty as we talk about where I got different stickers. Like this full page dashboard sticker from Creating & Co. And I'll also talk a bit about how I'm using different spreads and how I'm filling things in, and just give some overall commentary on how planning this year has gone for me. So I'm using this calendar page to track full moons, new moons, and my own monthly cycle. And for these tracking purposes, I am using the Kuretake dot markers. One gray, one purple, one blue. So what I'm going to use this page for is writing a sort of overview at the end of the year. I want to basically make a one-page summary so that in future years when I take this planner off the shelf and I want to flip through it, I have sort of a letter to myself that tells me this is how 2025 was for me when I'm reflecting at the end of it. The stickers are all from various places, but these three with the dragons are also from Creating & Co. On the goal breakdown spread, I covered up the top with Studio Ghibli washi tape from Jet Pens, and I'm using this spread to keep track of all the new recipes that we try this year. Things that we make at home for the first time, or maybe improvements on recipes that never really fully entered our recipe cycle, and sometimes just finding a recipe that is like our new go-to option. And the stickers are from a variety of places. Some of them came from Sticky Club, like this one and this one. This is an old Unicorn Eclipse sticker. This one is from The Joy of Planning. This one is from Sticker Party, I want to say. And a couple of them are from Hoya Co. or Hoya Sticker Company. So the yearly tracker since February is what I've been using to keep track of my YouTube subscribers and also to notate which days I actually upload a video. For the first month of the year, I was trying to use it like an exercise tracker, but there were too many little things, too many little symbols to sort out, and I just really wanted something where I could have a visual glance and I didn't have to do data analysis to understand what's going on this month. I really like the rest of this spread because it's very easy to just watch the number go up and see how frequently I post a video. And so just in terms of visual data, it's very easy to parse. It's very easy to look at. And also this makes me feel really good. I believe when I looked this morning, I believe I just passed the 9,000 subscriber threshold, which is absolutely crazy because just a few months ago, this is May, I had just over 100. This was the date that I posted the 0-hour video, and you can see my subscribers went up from 125, 126, and they just shot up, and they've continually been growing ever since then, because that video is still doing serious numbers. So thanks to everyone. If you discovered me through the 0-hour video, I'm just absolutely so pleased. Thank you for joining. You are one of these numbers represented here. And it is so funny to look back on this now because the way that I was just lovingly keeping track of every single one of these 100 people compared to now when I'm getting 100 subscribers in a couple of days is just, it took some time to sort of reorient myself and get used to this because it was kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm grateful you're here. Thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Moving on to the quarterly spreads. This is what I'm using as a writing tracker. Each month I am keeping track of which writing projects I'm working on. I'm keeping track of what my daily word counts are. You see, I was sort of combining spreads in January before I sorted things out with the yearly tracker. But after January it all settles. It's all just exclusively writing focused. So I have these word counts per day. Along the bottom, I'm totaling up how many words I wrote on how many writing days. And then per month in the side, I am reflecting a little bit on how each month of writing went. So my best writing month so far was May, when I got just over 30,000 words. Most of that was because I did a little 3-day challenge here over this long weekend with some of my writing friends. And we were really inspired to try this after watching some videos from A.K. Mulford, who is a writer who's also here on YouTube, who's put out some really cool videos about this 30K in 3 days challenge. Some months really weren't that good. I really can't explain myself for this. And I think you can see how I got pretty derailed after May. May was the video where my channel really took off, and so most of the year was sort of gradually creeping up the numbers, getting out of the wintertime slump, getting towards the summer and the sunshine. And then I had a really busy summer because I actually increased my hours for the summer to make more money, at the same time not knowing that my channel was right about to pop off. So I don't know if I regret that, but I had less time this summer to work on creative pursuits in general, so it was a little bit rough. I did all right. And ultimately, you know, I look at these months, I'm like, okay, 8,000 words in a month, not that great, not as good as I would like. But if you total up all of these, I got out the calculator recently, and so far for the year, I've just broken about 100,000 words. So that's pretty respectable. I feel like I'm not doing that much, but then when you add it all up, it can be pretty significant. Per month, doesn't seem like I'm doing that much, but 100,000 words, that's a pretty long, full-length book, maybe 2 books. So here's my fresh spread for October, November, and December for quarter 4, which I haven't really gotten into yet. I am trying to buckle down for the last 100 days of the year and try to write a little bit every day. So I got back in the habit around September 23rd, and I've been doing all right so far. So getting into the monthly spreads. The monthly spreads are what I'm using as a media tracker. So this includes tracking books, tracking music, particularly K-pop and K-pop releases, tracking visual media, and tracking video games, and also tracking special events, some celebrations, birthdays. Sometimes I wrote down new recipes. You can see January was when I was still experimenting a lot before some of my spreads really settled. So of course I had more YouTube information here on the side that I did not continue with in later spreads. So here's the one for February. Here's the spread for March. April is when I started using more of these little icons from Coffee Monsters Co. A standout read this month was the novella When Among Crows. Here we have the spread for May. My big excitement for this month was the release of BB's new album. My spread for June. This Pride Month spread was one from Sticker Guru. Unfortunately, they are no longer in business, so I can't redirect you to buy their stickers. Here's my media tracker for June. My earworm of the month was the Eyelet song Do the Dance. It's been stuck in my head ever since. In August, I actually didn't really listen to much music. I sort of had a music hiatus, but I did get back into anime and I started watching Apothecary Diaries and then Spy Family. Here's my spread for September. I really enjoyed the Coffee Monsters Co. stickers, the little icon, so I just kept using it. I think I'm going to keep up that part of the system. Big excitements for me this month, the Sterling Ink Planner release. The sequel to When Among Crows was released, it was also excellent. And Rebecca Sugar released a new album, and yeah, several of those tracks have also just been stuck in my head ever since. Really good stuff. I do have the next few pages decorated in advance for my spreads. So the stickers in this are from a Creating & Co. kit. This is also from a different Creating & Co. kit. And this one is, I believe, saucy stickers. Okay, so getting into the weekly vertical format, I have used these as time trackers and sort of just logs of how I actually spent my day. I didn't do any planning in advance in these pages. This is all written in after the fact. A lot of it is reconstructed, some of it done from memory. It's not like 100% accurate. I've flexed some things here and there to be able to make it more memory keeping and journaling rather than like a very strict time tracker. But the goal is time tracking. This kit is another Creating & Co. kit. And most of the stickers here, I think all of the stickers here are from Creating & Co. Some of the little functional stickers as well. I did start out decorating these pages a lot more because this is sort of what I used to do in my old system. I did a lot of decorating in a passion planner where I was doing weekly spreads, memory keeping spreads, sort of writing down how the week went and what I did every day. And I used to use a lot of stickers in those spreads just for design because it was where I was channeling most of my journaling and memory keeping impulses. But now that I have a system where I have more daily pages, I actually decided the more the year went on, decided to sort of simplify this and bring it down, keep it a little bit more simple and minimal, and use mostly functional planning stickers rather than a lot of like journaling stickers or design stickers. Most of the journaling stickers in this were from Hoya Co. Wait, I need to actually confirm. What are they called? Yeah, it is Hoya Co. Hoya Co. Stationery. Most of the stickers in this spread are from Starlight Paper Studio, but these Celestial ladies are, I believe, from Sticky Club. This is one also from Sticker Guru, but these cute little Skelly stickers are from Creating & Co. I love the little Skelly stickers. She's so good. I also love this spread. I just love the colors here. This is another kit from Creating & Co. But these little stickers are from Ohana Story. I just love these little guys. They are so cute. Tragically, this is another shop which I'm not sure if they're still operating or maybe they closed and then reopened, but they were originally called Bare Necessities. And I just love their soft aesthetic. Now we get into the parts of the planner that are blank. I'm really not a perfectionist about this planner, and sometimes there are times where I just can't update it, and you know, you just get back to it because it's a lot sadder to have a planner that you drop and then never pick up again. But if you keep picking it up again, then you might have blank spots, but you flip through it and you get to more good stuff again. So a few more weeks here. And then I had some blank ones in here. Sometimes I had some pretty sparse weeks where I only updated a few things. And then after this week in May, I had another pretty long break where I wasn't updating these weeks very often. And yeah, it's pretty ironic that I had a planner video pop off and then I was just so busy I just couldn't update my planner, but you know, that's how it goes. So from early middle May to the middle of July, I just didn't even update it at all. My summer was just so busy. I updated with a few new recipes, but then I didn't actually say what I did this week. And then I started to get back into it. So July I settled back in, but there were a couple of months where it was pretty rough and I wasn't updating it very often. It is very funny to see a week where I clearly had some good energy on Monday and then I just dropped it the rest of the week. Oops. But still, plenty of open gaps. And then there was this week where my partner and I both got sick. This was actually our first time. We're really diligent about masking, and I work a lot with people who are getting sick, and my partner works a lot with people who are getting sick, and neither of us got sick, ever. The entire time. I've been joking that as an autistic person, I'm always 5 years late to trends. What can I say? Started to get back into things, but this, again, sometimes you just need a minimal week where you kind of write down some of your wins and then and then you leave it alone. So here I'm getting back into the actual pretty decorative spreads, but this was also a reminder to myself, hey, this is actually quite a lot of work. Maybe I do want to simplify it and pare it down. Most of these are another Creating & Co. kit, but some of these little icons are from the Joy of Planning. Most of these are from Sticky Club, sort of a picnic theme. Another blank week. So this is the week where I really got back into feeling like myself again with these spreads. And this is sort of the style I want to keep using rather than having a lot of decorative elements to fill in space. I really just want to focus on what I'm doing and using little stickers, functional stickers and icons to give a little bit of color to my day. But I really just want to focus on relaying what I did. And that brings us up to October. So now we will flip ahead to the daily pages. This is what I started with. This is my first spread in my daily pages. And I was just doing some ideating about what I wanted 2025 to look like and to feel. If you're interested in my video on how I set feelings-based goals, then you can check it out here. And at the end of the year, I'm going to do an overall achievements and highlights. I planned on doing this every month, and then I just didn't, so it'll happen eventually. Yet again, you can see the ambition where I started off strong, journaling on the first day of the year, on the third day of the year, and then not touching it again until January 25th. So, I haven't been journaling every day. I hadn't been journaling every day, and it was sort of new for me to assume that I would just jump straight into journaling every day. And ultimately, I think I realized that I don't actually want to journal every day, that I do enjoy the journaling when I do it, but I don't like to pressure myself to do it every day. I would like to get myself into a place where I feel like I can do it every day, but I don't know that I have the time or the focus to journal every day right now. And a lot of what I want to make is sort of ideation and spreads, and we'll see a little bit more of that as I flip through it, because I actually like a lot more of what I have close to the end of this. So for January, you can see we're already in February. My January pages were like 4 pages. And then we get into February. So I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to fill up my Sterling Ink Common Planner in time. I do still have some concerns about that. We'll kind of touch on that at the end. But I think I do want to challenge myself to try it anyway, so we'll see. So we did a little February gratitude log, which I thought was fun. I made this spread at the beginning of the month just to kind of talk about the vibes. The energy this month feels like self-care, rest, healing, nourishment, comfort, and recommitment. I wanted to focus on returning to self-study academics And I think I've done that very well, actually, because I returned to language study and I've been working on this DIY MLS program, which I'm going to share more about in a future video. Relearning how to treat myself and just be nice to myself and reward myself for things. Holding, resting, and healing is making room for a new period of growth and dedication. I wanted to rewatch and reread some comfort media. I wanted to keep improving my bedtime routines, which I think I've been doing pretty well at. And I wanted to listen to some old faves. I basically was just feeling like very nostalgic, but also very ambitious this month. So I was focusing on some cozy rereads, and I did end up rereading the Amelia Peabody series this year. I wanted to revisit some discography, and I wanted to rewatch a couple of K-dramas, or in this case, a reality show that I find very cozy. Then I recommitted to journaling for a couple of weeks here. This is also more Creating & Co. I use this kit in one of the weekly spreads as well, so this is the rest of it, one of the Creating & Co. kits. I believe all of the stickers, the exception of this one, I believe all of the stickers on these pages are from Creating & Co. And I just love these colors so much. I went to see the movie theater release of the IU concert on this day, so I had the track list here. That was great. Some more journaling, and a bunch of the stickers here are from Sticky Club. They have a lot of cute little like stem stickers in here. This is when I was ideating my DIY MLS. I was taking inspiration from all of these different places, these courses of studies. I was looking at great books of the Western world, and I was saying, how do I make this less Western? I was looking at the fact that my friend wants me to read War and Peace. I was looking at my own experiences in liberal arts programs. I was looking at reading lists of authors I still want to read or intend to read, areas where I wanted to deepen my study. So I was getting really inspired. And I did some more journaling here. These larger stickers are actually from the washi tape shop. And the washi tape shop was nice enough to send me a code, which is an affiliate link. So if you use my code on the washi tape shop, I do get a little bit of kickback, make a few cents off of your purchase. So if you're inspired to buy something from the washi tape shop, feel free to use my code. I would appreciate it if you did. They do have a lot of really nice washi tapes. And I'll show you some more of how I've used some of their washi tape as we go on. Here's where I got into journaling more about my language goals. If you want to see how I set up my language study notebook, you can check out this link here. More journaling. I was using kind of a combination of things from Sticker Guru and a couple other places. I do enjoy how it looks when I'm doing these weekly journaling spreads. It is a lot of energy to try to sustain a regular journaling habit on top of memory keeping, on top of time tracking, on top of, you get it. So I like doing it. I just don't want to pressure myself into feeling like I have to and then dig my heels in and start avoiding it. So here we get into March. So I did use it a lot more in February than I did in January. And I do have some things kind of hidden that are a little bit more private or just for me. So at the beginning of quarter 2, this is how I evaluated some things, recalibrating my goals, values, and habits. I wanted to evaluate how I was spending my time, how I was caring for my needs, how I was furthering my goals, and how I was prioritizing my goals. And I asked myself some of these questions. Am I getting distracted, and by what? Are my better judgments getting hijacked? Am I falling to addictive impulses? Am I living up to my values? How can I change my environment? How can I set myself up to make better decisions? How can I add more joy to this? What do I want to prove to myself? What do I want to accomplish? And so when I flip the page, this is sort of me getting into that recalibration and examination. And this is actually where that 0-hour video originated. First, I was looking at my sleep routines and I was like, what do I need to do to succeed in the ways that I want to succeed with my sleep routines? And what do I need to ease that transition? And what's ideal? And I'm sure you've probably done this before. If you're watching me flip through a planner video, you probably have that kind of mindset where you orient yourself to like, how can I improve on this? How can I develop myself? How can I make this better? How can I make this more efficient? How can I make my life more functional? Or how can I make myself more functional by actually taking care of my needs in a functional way that supports me and serves me instead of, undermining me and not setting me up well for the next day? There's so many things that we want to do to improve our lives. And it's like every quarter I'm going to be asking myself these questions because you never just fix it and it's done. You're kind of always working with this, and your life is always being shaped in different directions by sometimes circumstances outside your control. And, it's just a lot. I think so many people feel really pressured to like have all of their habits absolutely cemented by the time they're like 25, when your routines and your life circumstances change so much as you get older. It's just really, really hard to like commit to doing a specific thing unless you really love it and want to do it like that. And sometimes we don't always want to do things that are good for us. I'm gonna be honest. It's, not as enticing and in the short term as many other things, which also feel good. Self-awareness is always that first step. And self-awareness is a skill that we have to practice constantly, that you never just can make a decision and you're just done. Like, oh, I never have to be self-aware about this ever again. No, you just constantly have to revisit it when you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 50. At a certain point, you probably get to stop thinking about it because you're just like, oh, whatever. You're so entrenched in your habits at that point. But our bodies and our biology and our needs and our habits and our daily routines change so, so much as we get older. And you just can't be too strict with yourself, It's just good to treat it more like fun and play, and to be curious about it and to explore and experiment instead of being like, oh my gosh, why can't I do this one specific thing, this one arbitrary thing that I told myself I'd do? Why can't I do it? I don't know, maybe try something else. I was asking myself a lot of these questions. How do I improve my sleep routines to get more out of the kind of life that I want? And then I asked myself the same thing about morning routines. And this is where 0-hour came from. This is where that idea originated, and I made that video about it, which people seem to like. I explored my mid-morning routines, and these stickers and these pages are mostly from Sticky Club. So then I started breaking it down by day. I was looking at my actual daily routines, and I was sort of examining it and analyzing how it looked, because I leave the house to work on certain days, and then I stay home to work on creative stuff on other days, and then, also have my own health issues that I'm constantly dealing with. So like sometimes the work doesn't get done because you're trying to just fight the day. So you're fighting your own body, you're fighting your own brain. And comfort media. I made this spread again just because I needed a reminder of nice things to indulge in. And I did make a video on comfort media as well. This is the spread I made for that 30K in 3 days writing challenge, which I mentioned earlier when I was going through my quarterly spreads, talking about my writing tracking. So this idea came from A.K. Mulford on YouTube. And I just love a good timed creative challenge. I'm always game. I think it's fun. It's just a good way to push yourself forward and gamify something. 3 days is sort of the perfect amount of time to really push myself. And yeah, I had a really good time with this. This is what I ended up with. Here's my day 1 stats. I did meet my goal of writing at least 10,000 words that day. Day 2 fell a little bit short, and day 3 fell even shorter, but I am pretty happy with this final number in terms of writing 23,000 words over 3 days. No complaints. I am very pleased with how this challenge went, and even if I didn't succeed, I do not feel that I failed. So this tracker about springtime media, summertime media, autumnal media, and winter and holiday media was also sort of how I was working through my Wheel of the Year. I did also made a video on my Wheel of the Year. At some point I'm going to run out of these cards to direct you to, so if there's nothing up here, I guess check the description. This is me taking a look at the associations I have with media in certain seasons, because there's certain times of the year where I really want to rewatch something, listen to something, or where a very specific piece of media gets me in this nostalgic mood, like for summer or for Christmas. Sometimes it's about when that piece of content is set, like, yeah, you're going to be more interested in reading dark academia at the beginning of the school year. Sometimes it's about when I encountered it in the first place, maybe when it first released or when I discovered it, and the time of year and the associations that I have with that feeling and that experience in my life. I started watching Dropout TV this year because a friend shared a password with me. Thank you. Thank you to my friend. You know who you are. So I haven't totally filled it in yet, and it's not actually updated very well because there's a bunch of things that I just haven't fit in. But I did make this tracker, little template for it, with a lot of little bubbles to fill in, and I'm gonna write out some of the episode titles and things. Like, I need to fill in which episodes of Make Some Noise I've watched because I have watched most of them. But this, I believe this sticker set was also from Sticky Club, and it just was absolutely perfect for this particular spread. Something about the design just felt absolutely perfect for Dropout. Just something about the colors and the gamification of it just worked out really well. And I technically haven't finished this spread because I did mean to put the adventuring party, the aftercare episodes as I call them, for Dimension 20 on here. And I need to fill in a bunch more of the things that I have watched. So this is not a fully finished spread, but oh well. Now we're getting into the second half of the year with my Q3 goals here for July, August, and September. This is again me talking about my sort of motivation-based goals. This is my past life episode tracker from the Third Life SMP, because there's so many different POVs to watch, and I do like to go through and watch as many as I can. I was sort of distracted by other things when this season was coming out, so I haven't watched as many POVs as I normally would, but that's why this tracker is here, so in a few months, if and when the hyperfixation hits, I can just go back and fill in the gaps. I wrote down some highlights and quotes from individual episodes, and yeah, good times. Sorry, there's spoilers here if you've never seen it. Did a little bit more journaling / ideation here. I asked myself, because I could see the writing on the wall, or the lack of writing, which is how many pages I had left in this book and how little I had actually written. So I said, what would it look like to use these pages more regularly and also use stickers? The stickers are the motivation for journaling, really. I bribe myself into journaling so I can use the stickers. Which, as far as things go, since journaling really does support your mental health, it's, you know, bribing yourself into good mental health. You could do worse. A little bit more journaling. Trying to get back into journaling before I decided to just get into anime instead. So this was my spread for watching through the Apothecary Diaries season 1 and 2. I just filled in each square with a little, I think it was a Tombow Fudenosuke colored brush pen. So then I started getting into planning for planner season 2026. I took stock of the planners I already had. I took stock of what I wanted, what functions I needed. You can watch this video here about the systems that I was looking to develop for 2026 and how that is all related to how I'm going to use my planners. Because I am using these really thin pages, the Tomoe River paper, which is typical for Hobonichi and for the Sterling ink and a number of other planners. Sometimes you do get this ghosting on the back, and it's hard to write sometimes on every page, but I think having almost like a little cover page or a little title page, it's not really just a sticker page, just having like one little sticker in the middle here can sometimes help break it up and make you feel like this page isn't empty. Look, it's just a transition page. It's a nice little design page before we get here. And I just got the notice that I'm running out of battery, so I gotta speed this up. So I was planning through what kind of planners and notebooks I needed and how I was going to use various spreads in different planners and notebooks. Oh, right. I said I was going to talk about. This is also one. This is from a roll of tape from the washi tape shop. I absolutely love this tape. It is gorgeous. This is also from the washi tape shop. This is from Sticky Club. And then these wide bunny washi are also from the washi tape shop. These sort of Monet's Garden looking ones are also from the washi tape shop. This is another one from that same roll from Apothecary Diaries spread, washi tape shop. Also these tiled ones, which I really like. I think those are really cool, and they kind of fit perfectly, breaking up the spread in these, like, you could fit 6 of them like perfectly here. A little bit more planner ideation. A little bit of ideation about no screen night, which I did make a video for as well. And a spread to go through my reread of the Jane Austen books. I love these kits. These are also from Creating & Co. These journaling kits and these stickers as well. So I did a little book review for Sense and Sensibility. I did one for Northanger Abbey. I love, one of my favorites. And then I left blank pages enough to go through the rest of them. Before we get into my little self-study syllabus, again, made a video on this as well. That's how I was getting back into studying in the autumn, capitalizing on that back-to-school energy. Here's my update on how far I got, what I managed to do in September. And then I made just an entire page where I just put all these stickers in just for the vibes. I do wish I had kind of swapped these just because there was so much ghosting, but oh well. And then I did, again, this little kind of sticker title page here. I'm still ideating. I'm still thinking about planners and how I'm going to use my 2026 planners. I'm going to make several more of these probably because I'm still reckoning with like how I'm using everything and still thinking through it in advance. Asking myself different questions, asking myself like how it's going to fit into my routines and like what kind of materials I need. Then I got back into reassessing my sleep routines because I still need so much help. And these are all from Sticky Club as well. I had this idea of like a 1 hour enrichment, sort of like 0 hour, but extended. I wrote that down. I started this little tracker for Spy Family. I didn't really have any Spy Family specific stickers, but this one felt pretty appropriate. I think these were all also from Sticky Club. This is my 100 days challenge, which again from September 23rd to December 31st is the last 100 days of the year, and I just told myself that I'm going to commit to writing every day. Any amount of time is better than nothing, but ideally I'd like to hit about 25 to 30 minutes, one Pomodoro, or 1/2 hour. I was thinking about graduated habits. I was thinking about evolving, leveling up my atomic habits, and just taking stock of where I am, what I am capable of in my current habits, how long I can sustain it, at what point does this habit feel like so simple and easy that it's just easier to do it than to avoid it. And this is where I'm at with some of my habits. We'll see about if I can increase and build on that as time goes on. And that's pretty much my quarter 3 stuff, because then I did start in the last week of quarter 3, I started this routine checkup for quarter 4, and I haven't quite finished it yet actually, but I was looking at movement and exercise. I was looking at my morning routine. I was looking at my bedtime routine. I was looking at house routines, meal plan routines. I still need to examine my reset routines and planning routines. I looked at my writing routines, asking myself how I want to balance my creative priorities, like how much time I want to dedicate to writing versus YouTube. Self-care, which I also need to fill out. I was looking a little bit at work and commute routines, study routines, leisure and hobby routines, still yet to be examined. And then YouTube scheduling and routines surrounding my overall workflow, which I'm still figuring out, to be honest. Like, I haven't been doing this for very long and nothing is set in stone yet, nothing is cemented. I'm still very flexible with it, and I'm still kind of trying to figure out how it fits into the margins of my life and how much time I'm actually specifically devoting to it and how much time I'm kind of spontaneously giving to it. Because I don't want to overschedule myself, and a lot of times things don't go as planned, but it doesn't mean that I don't have motivation for doing this. I think sometimes if I am not able to do this, it often means that I need a rest instead. So it's sort of about me still trying to find that balance and figure out how much time I really can afford to give to it every week or every day, and which days make most sense to kind of focus on it. And speaking of nostalgia, of course, I started a rewatch of Steven Universe, one of my favorite and most beloved shows of all time, because I'm very excited about the new series. So I am absolutely going to go through and rewatch the whole thing. And this is where I am now. I honestly have about 200 pages left, and there's only 3 months of the year. So I guess I now have a new challenge to try to fill 200 pages in 3 months. And I'm kind of excited about it because I like the idea of just being able to go woo and just go wild, just fill it up, try and use as much as possible, write big, use a lot of stickers. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it, but if you are interested in seeing what I attempt, feel free to subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you have any questions or ideas for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, hold on, my 2026 Sterling Ink Common Planner, which I will be setting up soon for the new year. Very excited. Can't wait. So I hope you guys are enjoying your planning as much as I am, and that you are getting a lot of joy out of your planners, whether it's decorative or functional or a little bit of everything. Yeah, that's all I got for you today. So have a good one, everybody. these bunny washi, these thick bunny washi, these wide bunny washi are also from Sticky. But it doesn't mean that my motivation for doing this is